Greetings. This is Brother Fresh Air here in Sacramento with Emmanuel. Brother, we just linked up yesterday, actually, at the co-op. I was out here doing some shopping for the meditation we do here on Sundays with Fresher Foods with the Sister Tamu in Oak Park. And I was just talking to him about a book because I actually have his book, the Emmanuel, and I was just curious, as to what the inspiration was behind that. So we got the man here, right here, right now.
Yeah, one of them destined collisions right there. I mean, that was totally random or whatever, but it's all part of the coding, I guess. Just happy to be here, really, and just happy that people are remembering everything and just really just enjoying the process. So it's just great to run into other people that know themselves, and yeah, just that's really, I don't know. I guess we're just gonna keep it rolling. But as far as like the Emmanuel, man, I really feel like a conduit about it because I've never read it. I just wrote it and put it together, and it just all came out of me, and I didn't even really have a choice. And I've never read it. I know it's 13 pages. I know, what I mean. I put it together and did the did the editing, I guess, after. But I just did it, and it just happened. Honestly, that's how I feel about it. Like, I learned just in writing it. It's crazy. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
So what was the inspiration for Amazon? Why Amazon?
Well, as far as like the ebooks, man, I just wanted to put it out there in a medium that people could easily access. Because I mean, I exchange them through the PDFs and everything too, through like email and everything. But
Okay.
people, I don't know. I think it's a little easier for them to, quite frankly, save face in a lot of ways because they don't have to deal with me, and I can understand that you don't feel like dealing with somebody. It's like having to talk to any author every time you want to, I guess, read some of their material. So it's kind of like, all right, let me just get this ebook for 300 pennies real quick, and then read it, and if I like it, I like it, and if I don't, I could just leave a bad review, and I don't ever have to talk to this guy or whatever, however you want to do it, just to make it an easy way to just access it, through phones and Nooks and Kindles and stuff.
Okay. So, main thing I wanted to ask you was what inspired you to go vegan or stop eating meat, and where do you see that going for you?
Honestly, I feel like it's something that at a young age, it was something I was introduced to because my brother's best friend, who's kind of like my best friend, he's Trinidadian, and he was vegetarian my whole life growing up, and he's one of the strongest people I ever knew. Like, as far as pull-ups, push-ups, just ripped up. I mean, that was one of my first examples of strength as far as like just physical strength in front of me. So I just had to respect it, and he kind of, he was Rastafarian and everything, and he was really into that. So he kind of just exposed that lifestyle to me so early just by being himself, and so I was like already kind of introduced to it. But I mean, of course, like, Dr. Sebi, man, I mean,
Definitely.
yeah, Dr. Sebi, he put it in a language to where it was like, you have no choice but to make this transition now. And once that hit my chemistry, just hearing him speak, I think it just reminded me of what I already knew, and I had to change, I felt like, after that point.
Okay. So what do you think about this whole, I don't want to necessarily call it a movement, but just like conscious kind of people really waking up, kind of, but then not really, waking up, because it's like still a lot of going outside of itself, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
but how do you feel about this whole conscious movement that's coming up now?
Again, like you said, I guess it's kind of like a trend in some ways, because you had the conscious movement of the 60s, 70s that got kind of hijacked and kind of, just deviated from what it could be. But I guess it birthed a lot of the people now that are kind of resurrecting it.
Okay.
So I think that at some level, the consciousness movement or stillness movement. However, I think it's always been there. It's just about how many people acknowledge it having always been there, and I think it just fluctuates from time to time, and it's really always someone carving out that heavenly habitat. So it's hard to, like, I guess, explain it like in a mass scale, because I feel like that all things are going to be manifesting, and it really has everything to do with what we pay attention to. So I feel like there will always be people devolving, and there's always going to be people evolving. So like it's all going to be here. So like I think it really is just about personal detachment, kind of, in a way, to where we can realize that the other avenues have always been there. They're always glaring, and it's just like a matter of, I guess, the amount of people doing it. But I think it's always going to be here. I think everything is always going to be here in this plane, at least.
What do you think about the whole growing your food, growing your own food that's going on right now? Are you do you have anything that you grow, or how are you getting the majority of the food? And what type of food do you eat? Like, what's your average day?
I really would, I think that growing your own food, producing your own food by any means is, of course, the best way, just because the energy you put into it. Personally, I travel too much to stay in one place to see a harvest in that way, in that respect. But I do my best to get organic at every chance I get, and if I can't, then I'm gonna just have to counter it with herbs every time, to clean my blood and things like that. So I would say, like, the most of my diet, the body being mostly moisture, most of my diet is moisture. So it would be, I would just go up the scale as far as the food pyramid for me would be like air, sun, water, alkaline herbs, moisture-rich fruits, and probably at the top of the pyramid would be like plant fats and proteins. So I guess since the body's like 80% moisture, I would say like foods that are around that 80% moisture or more, and that'd probably be like the sum of the diet for the most part.
Now, I've seen a couple of people, not that I've seen it, but what is your opinion on that statement, the black woman is God?
I wouldn't say it's a lie. I wouldn't say it's a lie at all. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a lie. I don't know. I guess it really got a lot to do with your perspective on how you feel. Like, but I wouldn't say that's a lie at all. I guess in physical form, in that form, for sure. I mean, it's so many ways to look at it. I know some people would say it's not many ways to look at it, but as far as embodying God in physical flesh, yeah. But I feel like as far as female, the womb man is still half man or partly man. So I feel like everything is both. So it's more so a goddess God or a God goddess. I don't know. Yeah. So however you want. To me, I guess we're arguing definition or terminology of something that is the same thing. Like we're in agreement, but it's like we're arguing over the terms used to describe it, I guess.
So what brings you to the West Coast, or Sacramento particularly?
I just, when I came out here to play football initially, I became a California resident when I was on the grid. And then I had went to school in Tennessee, left Tennessee, because I got a scholarship to play in Tennessee. And then after that, because I just really didn't want to play, really just being woken up every day, just really didn't want to give my will to that. So then when I came back to California and got into the green economy, I ended up finding a way to get off the grid here, and it just makes more sense as far as seasonally to be here at certain times of the year than to be elsewhere. Plus, I mean, the sun is better than New Jersey.
Okay.
It's better than New Jersey, man. Any day of the week, any time of the year, to me.
How do you think that the location has an an effect on the people that aren't getting that sunlight as a whole on the East Coast and like places further down south, you know, where they're or like Chicago, you know, where they're really not getting that same sun like we're getting here in Sacramento.
Yeah.
How do you think that plays into the whole culture, you know, first of all, and you know the attitude of the people there?
I think, yeah, for sure that the sun changes everything. Like, I think if you're waiting for the bus at a bus stop in Chicago in the winter or in New Jersey, it's hell. Like, in a lot of ways, it's just you know, if you're waiting at the bus stop here, it might be chilly at that time, but it's not like -4-degree wind chill. And I don't know. I just feel like, you know, the more energy you're using to maintain body temperature, the more food that you have to eat. So it just keeps you more dense, and you just stay dense, and it just creates all the thoughts and emotions that might come through you. You might not be able to decipher what's yours and what isn't when you're that dense. So I think the hate builds, especially in the Northeast, because it's the 13 colonies. You know, it's a very parasitic area. So I feel like, that human beings were born naked, so we gotta be from somewhere warm. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, you mentioned the parasites, man. I had somebody the other day tell me, "Oh, parasites are a good thing. You know, they're much needed in nature. You're making a big deal out of it." What is your feeling about parasites? Or is it something that's needed, or is it something that we can rid the body of?
Again, people can only speak to and for themselves. I feel like, so for their reality, they are creating a reality where they do need parasites. That's for, you know, that the way they eat, they are creating that existence. But it is not necessary for all. They can't speak for everyone. And I feel like anything that is dead or dying, the parasite is there as a tool to recycle them. They're not supposed to be here. Their life force is dwindling. They are dying, so they are supposed to be being recycled. So it is a necessity at some level. Like, that plane of existence exists, and it will always exist. That wavelength of parasite will always exist. I feel like it's just knowing that we don't need it, that we don't need to feed into the personas that create the parasites and the thoughts and emotions that create the parasites. So I feel like, yeah, if you eat things that, you know, just create an environment within you where parasites are needed, if you eat too much or eat dead things or dying things, a lot of it in abundance, or eat at the wrong times, or eat bad food combinations that would elicit parasitic activity, I think you have created that need, but I think that's a false need. I don't think that that's necessary, and I think that that's a person speaking from a position that doesn't even know what it's like to be rid of them. So they can't really even speak about the whole spectrum yet. So I don't know. Their experience, they can only speak to and for themselves. That's how it's rough, but that's how I guess it's tough. I guess you can only be, you know.
Yeah, I can definitely feel it. You know. So my other question is, what do you think is I know there's a lot of problems that are presented, you know, for people feeling like we're under attack and there's all this war, and what do you think that the solution is for, or is there going to be a solution for the masses, or is this something that only a select few are going to be able to, I don't know, I guess save yourself? Like, you know, it's like, what is saving yourself? What is heaven? Like, if this was hell, you know, where we're on right now, like what is this? What do you feel like is the solution to get out of this mess?
I really feel like it comes down to pressure and just controlling pressure within the individuals. Like, as far as really wherever our attention goes, our blood flows. So that shifts our entire blood pressure. If you're about to have sex, your attention goes to that, your blood goes to those areas, and your focus goes there, and it shifts your whole body. And I feel like if we look at the body like the universe, and we have a bunch of people where their blood is being cooled in certain areas of their own body, certain levels or below certain chakras, it's basically just like changing the entire pressure of the entire universe. And the more people we have doing or creating certain pressures within themselves, it's just expressing itself in the external illusion or reactionary part of life. So I think that it really is just about shifting the pressure within individuals and just being who you are and breathing properly and just enjoying each breath as much as you can and just appreciating each breath. I think that, and just being around people, colliding with people, I think that that just changes the pressure. And you I guess it's just faith in self that you being that way, you'll always carve out a heavenly habitat for yourself. And expressing self like that can only create ripples like that, you know. And yeah, the thing, just the more heavenly habitats people have as individuals, it just will all merge, and then we'll all be on that wavelength.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, we have, you know, a co-op here in Sacramento, the Fresher Foods Co-op, where we grow seeded organic food, you know, but we also feeding people by knowledge, you know, like knowledge of how to grow that, yoga, meditation, a lot of stuff like that, and
changing the world.
Yeah, basically doing it on a grassroots level, like in the houses, you know, in the community, instead of
organic.
Go out there, corporation style, and get all these permits and all this, you know, stuff to do stuff.
Asking for permission.
Yeah, basically asking for permission. So it's just like we're just doing it, you know, and we're not really asking for any government funding or nothing like that. You know, we're doing that. But one of the, I don't know if to call it the hurdles, but one of the things that we're dealing with right now is the water, you know, and I'm trying to control, you know, the water. I'm trying to pump it with fluoride, chlorine, stuff like that. So how do you feel like, what do you feel about, you know, the water source, and you feel like there's a way to kind of get off the grid with that?
As far as the water goes, yeah, I guess it's just about bringing the attention to people, and again, I think it comes down to changing the pressure and applying the pressure where we see fit, you know, just constantly expressing the truth as much as we can. And I think we really have to harness wind energy within ourselves more to counter it as the years go on. As they contaminate the earth, they've already contaminated earth so much, that element so much, and now the water element, and then you have air with the chemtrails and other forms being contaminated. I feel like the more that we can utilize other forms of energy and healing ourselves without using external means, the less we will need the external means. Like, I'm not saying to totally stop drinking water today, but I just feel like as far as harnessing breath and absorbing the moisture in the air, the atmosphere, in this upper ocean, the high seas, I think that will counter, because again, like knowledge, I feel like it counters the need for money, because the more you know, the less you have to spend anyway. So I feel like the more we know what we can do within ourselves to heal ourselves without having to go outside of ourselves, I feel like that will just create a change and a shift to where us having less need will, you know, as far as it'll bring more knowledge, just because it'll just be people needing less, and then we can drop the baggage and then just channel more into this reality, into this dimension, to where we can express it to everybody else, and it just shifts the playing field, I think. But I don't know if that's a mouthful.
No, yeah, that's deep, man. Okay, so yeah, I got a couple more questions for you. So are you, are vegan pretty much with everything, or is it just the food, or like what's your view on that?
Yeah, you know, I try to be every chance I get. You know, I have had cars with leather in them. I can't lie. You know, I have had, since being vegan, I don't have one currently, but I have had them, so I can't say since being vegan.
It's tough, man. It's like once you start,
once you realize, right? Yeah.
It's like sports. You got leather basketball. You know what I'm saying? You got footballs. Then you look at condoms. They're full of animal products. You know what I'm saying?
Truly.
So it's just like, man, it's like wallets. You know.
Yeah. I don't condone condoms. I know people would think that's crazy.
Man, nah, I'm the same way. I don't think it's protection at all. I think it's a false sense of protection.
Yeah, and then I think, yeah, for sure, if you feel the need to protect yourself in that way, you start to weaken yourself in that way, I feel. Just by creating the need to protect yourself, I feel like you attract. You know, I think if you feel like you need a condom, you shouldn't have sex with that person.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Like, you know, like
that's the first warning sign right there.
Yeah, like why am I questioning her or me? You know, I might need to not do this. So, but yeah, definitely, it is the whole to be totally vegan. I think to be totally conscious of it is something else. You know, belts, all that type of stuff. It's like it's real. It really
it's like real. The more you know, the more you. It's like it's everywhere. It's in everything. You know, I just found out the other day they were saying that all the soaps, you know, have the glycerin in it. It's an animal product. So I'm like, man.
Yeah. Glycerin, gelatin. It's like they sneak it in as much as they can, man.
Any way they can, you know. And so
there's just so many better alternatives than murdering something.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Either way, I mean, it's just wild. But I guess the more you know, the more you can't deny it every day you wake up.
So this is I guess this is the last question I got for you is how do you deal with family? Or no, this is probably two questions. So you got family that aren't interested in evolving with you, I guess, you know, and close friends, maybe high school, college, whatever, that still want to be around you. You know, feel like they know you. How do you deal with that?
For me, I'm gonna sound probably so lizardy and so cold-hearted and reptilian with this woman. I really just totally detached, man. I feel like,
oh man,
I feel like you need to never, you know what I mean? Like if they, you know, I know it sounds horrible, but I feel like you totally need to detach and be the best you, and then you attract the real family that loves you and the real people that, or they'll just stick around, the ones that were supposed to stick around, because I feel like you can't teach consciousness and you can't change people that don't want to be changed. So it really is kind of egotistical to even want to change them. And that's what I realized. Like I was just spinning my wheels and killing myself trying to change these people. And I'm focusing on such a small group of people. But if I were to just release all this emotional energy I got tied up with them, I could help way more people, and way more people could help me. And then everything else, I think, will take care of itself. It's just that we just run into those people, I guess, that we just can't stand to see sad, but it doesn't help anybody to be sad with them, you know. I don't know, it sounds so cold, I know, to me,
man.
But I don't know, I think that when you have space and you give space, I feel like tells more than time. So when you create space from them people, then you realize who really cares about you, whether they eat garbage or not. And I think if you're just being the best you, that it'll all take care of itself. It's your own. It's kind of like your own emotional binding, kind of, to these people. And I hate to be that way, but I feel like they'll never understand your value until you remove it, you know, from their life.
It's pretty deep, yeah. It can sound cold-hearted to some people, but nah, I feel you got to protect your energy. And yeah, so what about this one? Okay, so you have people that it's like you got to be positive, everything positive, you know, no curse words, stuff like that, spelling, you know, all these curses. So what do you feel about the negative language and the curse words?
Honestly, you know, I took this from Dr. Africa. You know, he was because I took the course, and he was saying curses, of course, are positive and negative. You can use a curse in a positive way, and people, I think, their conception of cursing is different than what it really is in reality. Because, like, you could say, "I'll be damned if I have another day like that again," and that'd be like a positive curse. Like, and I think people just take it for the words, and then they attach emotional things to the words, and they allow themselves to feel a certain way about a word, which is just simply an alignment of vibrations that they continue to feed into with a certain emotional energy, and then it creates the reality that they tie to it. So I don't know, I just feel like words themselves, like we're thinking in a language. Like, if you're thinking auditory thoughts already, it's all left brain anyway. So it's kind of like, I don't want to say null and void, but it's like the language we're thinking in isn't even our nature. So it's kind of like you can use it as a spell. You can use words as spells, but you can't. You can't identify with the words or anything like that, or let them control your emotions, because they're not even a part of our nature. They're totally something else.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was deep too. Okay, so yeah, I appreciate it. So I guess let them know where they can find, or you got anything coming up that you're working on, or where can they find you or find the book, if they're interested.
I got 28 texts. They're on Amazon under RBUD Vegan, or you can get the PDFs through ROYALT512 at yahoo.com. But I'm working on some right now. I don't really want to give the titles out, because things get snatched up when you put it out like that. Yeah. But 'cause I just really want to drop them when I get it done, and then I guess you can just check me out on GZUS-cryst19 on IG, or Jesus Christ channel on YouTube. But that's really about it. It's constantly working. You know how it is. You're constantly working. The projects kind of come to you. Feel. Yeah, man. I'm just glad we could connect, though. Glad we could really.
Oh yeah, man, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff that I wanted to get done out here while I was during this time, and the universe has just pulled the right people, to just crossing paths with people that are already doing what I wanted to do. Because I was like, man, I want to be able to get a location and grow organic food. And bam, I'm meeting people right here at Oak Park that are already doing that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, okay, all these things come together, like you said, where you focus the attention on. So sorry to cut you off.
No,
it's good.
I got there's basically 80 acres in near Sequoia National Forest that I have, with a few cabins on it already. And I started a GoFundMe page so that we could either renovate a couple of the cabins or create some earth bag houses to have a cleansing villa, really. Because it's streams there. To dig a well, we should, that's really what the main thing is, really, to build some earth bag houses and dig a well so we can have infinite water supply in a lot of ways, because of course there's much more groundwater than they let on.
Oh yeah.
And then I don't know, I just feel like it's just abundance. Like, it's just so much here that we could be utilizing, and then it's just great to run into someone like yourself, because for me, I might not necessarily have the time to work the land like you, but you might be looking for the land. So it's like, like everything is there, all the elements. Yeah, it's all there, like, so that everybody can work with each other instead of for people. I think we get so caught up in working for people that we never get to work with each other. And I just feel like, I don't know, what do you see as far as like where things will go? Like, where do you
honestly, I think that it has to get to where your food is, where you can reach out and touch it. That's why I was glad I could run into the brother Ron Finley, like I was telling you a couple of weeks ago, because he was talking to the kids about having your food be hyper local. To where it's always, no matter where you go on the planet, it's within reach of you. And that's kind of like the dream I see. But it's also like not focusing too much on the ground, crops and the green, because those aren't really naturally attractive. To want to just eat a big bowl of greens without seasoning it or putting anything on it. But the fruits, they have the more water in it. So it's like, there are people I'm finding now on the West Coast growing mangoes, growing pineapples, avocados, stuff like that out here. And how do we bring that kind of natural climate back, that tropical kind of, before everything was cultivated, and before they came and put all these cash crops, these monoblock, robotic,
and then all that to feed the animals.
Yeah, to feed the animals, and it's drain all the resources, the water, and so the only way I feel like it's back is through the soil, so we have to change the chemistry of the soil, and I feel like that's planting more of the fruit trees. So I'm working at with Luther Burbank. Last year they planted 27 fruit trees, pretty much, right not too far from here, and so it's just like teaching the kids that and getting them back to where just as much energy as they use to take out all that land, we got to use that same energy to bring all those trees back, to bring this natural fertility back to the soil. I feel like that's what's missing. All this masculine energy, everything's about doing it the man way, and there's no fertility,
Nurturing.
Yeah, no nurturing, no fertility, and you can see it in the people, and so it's just like
imbalance.
Imbalance. So it's like what we're doing here, just the yoga, the breathing, it's all that, and it's that kind of vibe that's needed, and you don't really see the brothers tuning into it. That's one question I missed. Matter of fact, while I'm here, I gotta ask you that one. It's just kind of shift while I thought about that. What you feel about the yoga and the men kind of feeling like they're too cool or too stiff for the yoga? Do you see it a transition for the brothers?
I really feel like that when our body's mostly moisture, and if you're overly male, and like too much male creates stagnation, and too much female creates stagnation. So in stagnant water, it just breeds parasites. So they're not being themselves. So like I think if they just really got real with themselves and realized like that we are all both, everything is both male and female, binary code, then we can get past that persona, which creates the parasites, which has us thinking that we need to be imbalanced to create balance. It's really it's crazy. I don't know. It's a crazy compensation game that's going on that people need to just really let go of. I think it's more so about letting things go. I feel, but I think it's very possible, and it's going to take some effort from some people, but I think more is less and less is more. So it'll be the right ones doing it. It'll be plenty of us, the ones that need to change will change, and then everybody else will just probably have to recycle.
Okay. Do you feel like it's going to come through the music, or do you feel like it has to come through the music to reach that, I guess, where the culture or the youth are at right now?
They are in a trance from it. I think, for sure, the music has to shift from the 440 hertz.
Okay. Yeah. I know that you got some music. I think you got a couple, songs you put out, or a mixtape, or you got you got an album or something?
My brother got some mixtapes. Okay. I just put music out.
Just put out, okay.
Him,
I feel you. Okay.
Just because I feel like I guess everyone has a root chakra, so I guess I just use it to bring the message from the other chakras down to that everybody residing at that level. So it's like, I guess a tool I'm using sometimes, but I really feel like rap in general, man, it could be something amazing, but I feel like for the most part right now it's so hijacked and such a deformity of real music, that it's rough to even really acknowledge it as something wholesome, because it's just a bunch of pieces of real music. So it is just a fragmented piece of imbalanced music for the most part.
Hijack, like you said.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah, definitely. If we could get more people into the real elements of music at a different hertz, 432 and other ways.
Yeah, feel it that. Yeah. Okay.
So
what do you feel like about the reggae and stuff like that?
Definitely a way better form. People, they can take it however they want to take it, as far as the culture that comes around reggae or what have you. I feel like ultimately, the more music we do for compensation, the more diluted it becomes. Everyone is looking for compensation from the music instead of trying to just create the best music that they can create. And I think it just comes down to the internal rhythms are all thrown off. So it's creating that sense of lack. So everyone is constantly just looking, because they're in a state of dehydration, to begin with. So I feel like it creates that sense of lack. Just start from the moment they wake up, they're probably dehydrated. So the sense of lack is immediately on them. So like, I think that the music culture has to shift from trying to make money from the music to just trying to create the best music that you can create, I think. And that I feel like that would be the change in things. But I don't know, you know, all the elements into making that happen, because, you know, that's a huge thing that, you know, Goliath right there as far as music, but I think it is fundamental for our enslavement to keep the music at a certain pace and keep people on throw off all the rhythms and all the balance within us with music like how we've been exposed to.
So would you say that you're a Rasta, or how you feel about the Rastafarian thing?
I wouldn't say, I really don't like labels in general,
definitely.
Because I feel like that takes energy from it, but I don't have a problem with people being that or doing that. That's you know, everybody's doing whatever they should be or feel like they should be doing, so that is what it is. I just honestly with the locks, I was just sick of conditioning and washing my hair like how I had to and brushing it and combing it like how I had to. It doesn't really make sense, I guess, at some level to make my hair do something it doesn't really want to do, because it was just constantly tying up and just constantly being locked. So I was having to condition it and then so I just got sick of even doing that. Yeah, constantly compensating. So music is life in a lot of ways, and it's a shame where it's at, but it is. I guess it lets us know where it could be.
So would you consider yourself, I know you say you don't like labels, but would you consider yourself an artist?
I guess, sure, sure, artist / scientist, you know, sure. I mean,
there's so many labels. You could tackle Gardner, right? Public speaker, you know, author, you know,
channel. I would just be thinking like channel, maybe just channel. I don't know. You know what I mean? We're all just channels. I'm not sure.
Source of light. You know,
yeah.
But I feel you. You know, I just think that art is so powerful, and that's one thing people helps to carry that message. You know? Yeah. Especially like on a platform like YouTube and stuff like that. It's like sometimes you got the best message ever for people, and there's no art behind it, and a lot of people don't. They wonder why the message didn't move past 14 views. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's power. You know?
Truly.
So it's just like,
I don't think there's any way to make profound things simple other than art. I think art is the only way it's really art is like the process of making the profound simple and the simple profound. I feel like there's no other way to do it but through that art medium, whether it's drawing or whatever, because it's such a layered thing. Like everything, you know, anything else is just going to come off flat. So I feel like art, whether it's music or drawing or painting or whatever, it just has its layers, because the layers of you know, and then depending on how your depth, I guess, depends on how many layers that come off in your art, really, I guess.
Yeah. So what do you think makes people, like one person have all this depth and then one person is just kind of like real, I don't want to call them stale, you know what I'm saying? But it's just
stale
like
works. Or stale
boring,
or flat.
You know what I'm saying? What is that you think that makes the difference? What would you call that?
Yeah, we always come down to the moisture and the melanin. You know?
Oh, okay.
Of course, you know, we're gonna just keep coming down to that basic base of life there.
Yeah. I was saying the other day, watermelon, it's deep, you know what I'm saying?
Because I mean, I know it's gonna offend a lot of people, but I'm not even trying to like, I don't know. I don't really necessarily want to act like I'm trying to include myself with highly melanated people when I say what I'm about to say. But there's plenty of people that are of light hue externally because they have a low amount of melanin. But if you cut them open, they look exactly like someone that's heavily melanated.
Oh yeah, honestly, I was there's this girl. Her mom is like pitch black, but she is, you know what I'm saying, like light, you know what I'm saying. So it's really, it's not something you could just automatically say that it's just oh you're you know what I'm saying, this color.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of people who are black, but they got like the vitiligo or whatever. Like you can see their insides really it's leaving them. You know what I'm saying? And so the chemical, the outside is not always in the direct reflection, you know, of what's going on chemically.
Yeah, things aren't always what they seem. I mean, and I think we can't rule out certain things, like as far as like cloning and different things like that, to put certain things here as far as messing with the genetics. And I mean, you're really dealing with hundreds of years of slavery, if not more, if you want to put numbers and years on it. Yeah. I just feel like as far as playing with the genetics and playing God in that form, in that way, that as far as the skin color goes, that there's so many distractions and so many things that were probably placed here and are being placed here that aren't what they seem, as far as pretty much manufactured people or vessels, and it really is, it is the artificial intelligence, as far as like there are people that are pretty much a step from being what you would call manufactured, and they are pretty much open vessels. Whether they look a certain way externally, it really kind of means nothing. You know, I don't know. I know that might be crazy, sound crazy to some people,
I feel you, man.
But I feel like if you could create a vessel that doesn't know itself and place it amongst a crowd of people that are being oppressed, it would. I mean, it doesn't know itself, so it wouldn't even know what's fake and what's real to even say I'm fake, I'm real. You know, so I feel like, you know, it's I think that has been happening, that they have been placing people that might be of dark hue externally, but be totally, I want to use less offensive words. I don't want to say like lab rat or guinea pig, things like that.
It's definitely, man, I see it all the time. You know, I had so many experiences, you know, with people that really no knowledge of who they were. You know, very easy. I would call it like awareness, no awareness. You know? And it's just like man, you know, in my mind, it's like you got this gift. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who you are, but it's like literally they think everything is just supposed to be this way, and it's all. I would say it's white supremacy. You know, it's just like a whole training, you know, programming. So it's deep.
Yeah, and then like you said, it could pop up down the line where you have dark couples having a light child because of what it might have happened 100 years ago, 150 years ago, just as far as messing with the bloodline. And I just feel like people's concept of slavery, how far away, we're really not that far away, as they say, because open slave trading stopped in the mid-1800s, but it still happened, and you were still allowed to hold slaves until 18 years old, until the early 1900s. So I mean,
this is still a baby, man. We still, what is that?
It's maybe 100 years.
Post-traumatic slave syndrome. It's real.
I mean, 5 generations. How you doing?
Peace.
5 generations. Nothing.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah.
So okay. So I appreciate you coming in. Like I said, doing the video. I'm looking forward to doing some type of work with you in the future to help to change the vibration, raise the vibration, heal the people, whatever you want to call it. But just get people out of this sleep zombie mode.
Truly.
And get them into some good, like tasty, natural food for the heavens.